What's up, Gamecock Nation? Tashawn Wanamaker here checking in, and you're about to hear the show presented by Express Suns Rooms of Columbia. Spurs up.
It's time for Inside the Gamecocks, the show with Phil Mullinax and J.C. Sherbert.
So, how many of you would say you speak English fairly well, but with some difficulty?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
You play to win the game.
Now, let's take it away, J.C. and Phil.
It's the end of an era here at the show.
That's right.
And wouldn't have it any other way. So today I get up. There's a lot of work that goes into kind of a changeover like this. Of course, Jamie Bradford will join us tomorrow as a full-time co-host of the show with Phil and I, and we're excited about that. But there's a lot of production stuff we had to do. The pre-show scroll you saw was something I was working on today. Got a phone call. And it was one of those where, I kind of let it ride up until about 10:53. Come back and the Wi-Fi's out at the house. So I'm connected via my personal hotspot on my iPhone. So I hope it holds. Because this was almost like after yesterday, I didn't know that it could get any worse. But today... you want to talk about feeling like a clown. I would have been like, wow, that would have been unbelievable. But this is Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Phil Mullinax, J.C. Sherbert. Don't forget, tomorrow, Bradford joins us full time. We'll become a power trio. There'll be a new intro, new commercial sounded stuff, new sponsors coming on board. So our Inside the Gamecocks, the show family not only grows with Bradford, but several other affiliated businesses, and we appreciate those guys coming in.
For sure.
Certainly, just like we appreciate all of you. Phil, I got up today because the MP3 thing got stuck last night. So I get up, I'm up about 4 a.m. local, and I'm like, this son of a biscuit eater, I'm like, so I hit the button again, it uploads it, and then I get a tweet from one of our fans. It's like, yeah, the show was entitled Malfunction Junction, and then you uploaded Friday's show. I'm like, So I had to go delete that. So I mean, I think it's probably good Jamie's coming on board, Phil. We've had a tough run of it here.
Past few shows have been interesting, at least logistically and technologically. I mean, we started a show a few minutes prior to starting this show, and for some reason YouTube didn't connect, so I had to go back out, recreate the whole thing. But hey, we're happy to be back in here with everybody.
It's that daggum Google company, man. They rule the world.
That's right.
That Google
layoffs.
Google. Anyway, some things to get to today. I'm sure you guys want to talk about Nicholas Harbor. That's what everybody else wants to talk about. I was on 107.5 The Game this morning for an hour with Will Gunner, and Preston Thorne is now his co-host on the morning show on 107.5 The Game. We're always good to hear from Preston. Just want to talk. I think we talked about Nick Harbor for 45 minutes. Or 75% of that segment, because that segment's a bunch of ads, a lot of ads. It's like talk, ad, you know, that kind of thing. But I love doing it, and I love Bill, and certainly glad he's got Preston as his co-host now. But we dug into it hard. And what I can tell you guys right now about the situation is I don't know. Tony Morrell put in a crystal ball yesterday based on the totality of his info.
I saw that.
I'm hesitant to do that. I don't know why. I don't know. It's nothing more than a gut feeling, because all my information from South Carolina's end and elsewhere indicates, you know, a few other places elsewhere. I mean, and maybe it's because Steve Wiltfong and Brian Doan and those guys haven't jumped on the crystal ball train for the Gamecocks yet at 24/7 Sports, because they're talking to a variety of different contacts. But South Carolina feels pretty good about it. I think Oregon, obviously, the recency bias, I guess, the most recent official visit. I think Oregon probably feels like they got a chance, a good shot. I know Maryland's had some confidence, and then Michigan was the favorite before Carolina was. But I think the prevailing intel with Michigan is the Harbaugh thing, you know, the constant flirtation with the NFL. And then there was Schefter had a story out a couple days ago that Harbaugh, even after he released the statement he was staying at Michigan, still met with the Broncos owner. Don't know why.
Jeez.
You know. Yeah. You know, and that's 2 years in a row where I think had Harbaugh gotten an offer to go back to the NFL, he probably would have gone. So, and that kind of stuff, everybody remembers when Steve Spurrier made the 2 or 3 years comment, and how the recruits just started diving off of what was a good recruiting class at the time. And, you know, that's the thing, a head coaching transition, because that doesn't just mean the head coach leaves. It means there's going to be a whole new staff, like a lot of new faces. That upsets what I've called the comfort level. And the comfort level is what all decisions are based on. So I you know, maybe it still is Michigan. Sometimes you sit here and you get to the Monday before a Wednesday announcement, and everybody kind of thinks the team that was going to get him way back when is out, and then they end up getting him. Because at the end of the day, that you gravitate back to your first love or whatever. But anyway, all my information says Gamecocks feel really good. They're in a strong position, like where they're at, and so we'll see what happens. I mean,
Well, we all hope he comes on board, and it'll be you know, like you said, it's the cherry on top of the great 2023 class, and you know, another set of hands, I guess, if he can use them like that to catch the ball, which is what we're all hoping for, right?
Yeah, I hope. I think that's the question when you break him down as a player. Not that he doesn't have good hands, or not that we've seen him with the dropsies or anything like that. It's you know, he's probably not as polished at catching the football as you'd want right now. And if he's not going to get very much bigger, I think you almost have to look at him as a receiver, or maybe exclusively a split tight end. I'm sure with a new offensive coordinator, you know, he'll at least have a better idea, unlike they did with Jaheim Bell, right? I think they'll have a good idea of kind of where to play him and get the most out of him. We were talking about defense today too, and Preston Thorne, who obviously played defensive line at Carolina, was saying just as a rush end, like on passing downs, it's not rocket science to tell a guy to go in there and do it, and to kind of say, well, we're not going to ask him to do these 3 or 4 things. He's just going to go after the ball, go sick him, in other words.
Yeah.
He said that's not that hard to do. And I like Harbor's film on defense a lot. I think, especially when you're talking about hand quickness and things like that at the line of scrimmage, he's slippery. He can get in there. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the plan or not. I think when a guy like this, where is he going to play? Well, where does he want to play? Where you want to play, man.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be happy to have you wherever you want to be.
Anywhere he wants. I still think he's going to play touchdown if he can catch it all. So that's it. Nana Sports chat box, of course, wide open today. We have the Mental Edge with Sawyer Nix coming up. Obviously, the big news with Bradford joining us tomorrow full time. And just a couple of notes on that. All right, so we do have more sponsors. I don't know if the breaks are going to get longer, I guess. Probably about 30 seconds or so. What you'll hear more variety, because I know some of you have like memorized the commercials, which I think is very effective for our advertisers. But I did realize it probably gets monotonous to sit here at the same breaks over and over again. So we're going to split things up, and with a 3-man crew, we can do that. I think it'll be very good. I mean, I'm kind of living the dream myself right now, working with Phil, and I've always, dreamed about working with Jamie too, because all this kind of came about, the daily aspect of it by me going on Jamie's show every Wednesday for an hour, and that, honestly, was some of the highlights of my career. I felt like I could kind of be myself, and it's carried over to the show, and I appreciate that. And so working with Jamie and Phil at the same time is going to be outstanding. And our goal is to be the #1 Gamecock show every day.
Yep.
Every day, with express sunrooms and our 27 advertisers and our 150 people in the chat box and our technical malfunctions and my hair.
That's right.
The dog barking. Yesterday, Phil, I also forgot to unplug the daggum turtle pond.
Oh, it was.
There's a note on YouTube.
I was enjoying
a note on
the
YouTube
turtle
is like,
music.
who's running the water? I got to pee. And I'm like, oh, man. And I look down, and Lizzie's looking up at me like the turtle, like, they look, that face. And I'm like, I guess she's breathing, because I guess it's hibernating time for her. But, so I forgot to unplug that yesterday. It was just a mess. Maybe that guy that lives in his basement that tweets about Clemson and keeps the spreadsheet with me and Whittle and Tony on it, the stalker. Maybe he was right, and I am a hot mess. Maybe I am a hot mess. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's been kind of a challenging 24 hours. I'm worried today. Like I said, the Wi-Fi's out today. It's 1 degree today in where I'm at. -7 is the wind chill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Don't go outside.
The heat went out in one of our cars too. So last night we went and traded it out for her mom's car. They're in Thailand still. She's got a brand new Mercedes SUV with seat warmers and stuff. It was outstanding, but sure was cold this morning. So, and
how does Red handle that? Does he mind going outside?
He's got a big old coat of fur, man.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, he should handle it well, right?
Oh, he's got a vet's appointment today. I got to remind him. I'm done with this vet. Everybody's like, I don't know what it is. The COVID situation, why COVID all of a sudden screwed everything up for good. Like,
Permanently. Yeah.
Permanently. My doctor is a lunatic. They prescribed this blood pressure medication, right? It's taken me 5 days to get it. I went to the doctor 5 days ago. They used to just give you the prescription and you go to the pharmacy. Well, now they have a certain lady that calls it in, and she forgot to call it in because when I was leaving, there was a guy in there raising hell because he'd been in an accident, right? But it was obvious he needed some pain medication. Because he was yelling and just out of control. So I got the hell out of there. I was like, I'm not going to be part of doctor's office violence. So I left, and we go through the weekend. Nobody's called anything in. And then so Nat, her son, goes to the doctor that shares the practice, the Dr. Lee. I go to Dr. Murad. Murad. It's from Syria, right? Aleppo.
Oh.
I'm like, well, I don't want to discuss Spartan. Sometimes I think Spartanburg has it bad. That is Aleppo. So this guy's like, I think human life to him is just kind of an afterthought, just based on pictures of his hometown. But, so he's in there, and like, I had a few things, I had to get a couple of referrals for some different minor stuff that I needed to take care of, because I'm at the doctor, right? Let's nip it in the bud. So the psycho's in there cussing everybody out. And I just got the hell out. But then I expected some competence, right? I expected, okay, they checked me out. I even paid the copay. Like the lady, I was gave her my card for the copay. She's like, well, you're going to pay now? I'm like, it's $25. Yes. Yeah. I don't want that bill for $25 coming in every month. I could forget to pay it. All of a sudden, it's on my credit report. Yeah. $25. Yeah, I'd like to get this taken care of. So I even paid. No prescriptions. Talked to her yesterday. Oh, I lost your email address. My email address? Well, could you not have looked up my patient file?
Yeah. Do you not keep any records there?
I'm like, yeah. I know medical records are a big talk. Come on, man. So anyway, so the vet has gone to hell too. And I used Banfield because when I was in Nashville and had red, when I was in Greenville and had red, they were really good. It was like a real vet. Dog gets sick, take him to Banfield. Oh, we're going to try to fix him. One time he had to have reconstructive surgery on a private area. So Banfield wasn't equipped to do that because he had some crystals in his urethra. But I had to $2,500 later. It's a reconstructed situation. But yeah, dude couldn't pee. But they tried to fix it, right? They got him right in. Now, with Banfield up, it's like, yeah, when you better schedule your teeth cleaning because we don't have any availability till March. And I'm like, I pay you guys $79 a month. It's like, I thought this was like health insurance for pets. Oh, no, it's more of a maintenance plan. I'm like, that's not what you told me when you sold it to me. A maintenance plan.
Run your dog by buffer and oil change.
My man doesn't need an oil change. He doesn't need his fluids topped off. I really just need to update it. Make sure your shots are updated so I get him groomed. Of course, with this weather, he probably doesn't need to be groomed all that much. But so I'm done with them. I'm like, Red's 11 years old. I'm taking him to the Lockport Animal Hospital. And so I got to call these people today. And really, they're dumber than dirt that work at this place. They're just, and rude. Like all of a sudden, there's a shortage because of COVID. Oh, my God. Which is, I know COVID's still out there, but I thought we were beyond that, right? And I'm like, well, what the hell? Why is there a vet shortage because of COVID? What sense does that make? None.
You'd think it would drive people to veterinary medicine, seeing as how they wouldn't have to deal with sick people all the time, right?
Right. And I read places, things like the Washington Post, and literally, I think that newspaper wants everybody to quit and kind of work, live off the government, so to speak. Because they're talking about crap like quiet quitting. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Quiet quitting.
Anybody that works for me, you want to quiet quit, it's going to be loud firing. Not quiet quitting, loud firing.
There will be no quiet quitting here. No.
There's no. You're done. No, there's no quiet quitting in the world of J.C. Sherwood. So I kind of think a lot of it has to do with that. These people just out there like, oh, I don't need a job anymore. And I'm like, well, it's probably because you're so socially awkward when COVID hit. You enjoyed staying at home so much, you're terrified to go back outside. Terrified to go live in public. Mm-hmm. That's a big sociological spiel I went on. But anyway, I'm changing vets today, so I got to remember to call Banfield after the show and get records emailed over. And check this out. They have the new hospital has an AOL email address from the 90s.
Oh, jeez.
Lockport Animal 1903 at AOL.com.
That's not very reassuring.
I'm like, are you on AOL Instant Messenger too?
That's right. Yeah. Ding dong.
Anyway, All right, we're going to hit a first break. Sawyer Nix with The Mental Edge is coming up here in a little bit. He's going to talk about a lot of different topics, including one that's kind of personal for me this week. Do want to congratulate Robert Brooks and Mark Burson for being inducted in the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. Brooks, of course, I'll always remember him in '88 after Sharp left. He kind of picked up for the Gamecocks, and then after Sharp retired from the Packers, Brooks picked up there. Green Bay Packer for many, many years. So, and Mark Burson, of course, was the longtime soccer coach at South Carolina, led the Gamecocks, I think, to a national championship game berth in the 90s, sometimes 80s, 90s, sometimes like that. Anyway, we're going to hit a break. Be back. This is the show.
Golfers and wannabe golfers, former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor is now a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina. In-person golf lessons are held at the Country Club of Lexington. Half-hour, hour, on course 9 or 18 holes. And if you're outside of South Carolina, Meredith conducts virtual lessons. Just send in your golf swing for analysis. Gift cards are available for in-person 1-hour lessons. Connect on Twitter at Mayor Taylor and find her online at McKellarEnterprises.org. Her email is on the website. Schedule your next lesson today with Meredith Taylor, former Gamecock golfer.
Gamecock Nation, do you need a place to stay for the big game? Many hotel booking engines keep all the commissions, but at Fan Plans, you support inside the Gamecocks, still earn your hotel loyalty points, and you receive an email with direct confirmation from the hotel. Whether you are visiting Columbia to cheer on Carolina or hitting the road to follow the team, get in the stands with Fan Plans.
This is Coach O. Now back to the show. Go Tigers. In the soul.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, presented to you by Express Sunrooms in Columbia. Give John Barber a call, 803-446-4662, to set up a consultation about a potential backyard retreat for your home. And, of course, the first hour of the show is brought to you, as always, by Cindy Searfoss and the Coldwell Banker Kane Realty team here in the Upstate. Give Cindy a call, 864-414-5271. She'll be happy to help you with all of your Upstate residential real estate needs. Give her a heads up that you heard it here. I'm sure she'd love to hear that we are still feeding her business.
Yeah.
Always good referral business. Mm-hmm.
A note from the high school ranks: Lexington High School head coach Perry Woolbright is the next head coach at Clover High School. He replaces my friend Brian Lane, who took the job at Anderson Westside. Brian had Clover winning. Clover's a big school.
They are district. Big. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Anyway, Nana Sports Chat Box. Oh, the award-winning Nana Sports Chat Box, by the way. Rocking and rolling. Everybody's there. We have action. Somebody asked about Bradford coming in today. Not till tomorrow. But we went ahead and ran the scroll today, and that was probably my fault.
No, kind of a preview. I was glad we got to see it. Make sure there weren't any misspellings that we'd get, raked over the coals over and all that other good stuff.
No doubt. Brave Red Cox says, "What's up, clowns?" Brian says, "Your hotspot is better than your Wi-Fi." LOL.
You are coming in very nice. It's clear. Maybe this is the way we need to do this. Damn Chicago.
Oh, there's probably some kind of limit, like some kind of limit on your Wi-Fi because of the environment or something that they put in here.
Some sort of bandwidth, restriction that you have up there.
Restriction, Nah, the kids though, man, they both have a PlayStation 5. One has a gaming computer. One has a iMac or an Apple. You got my iMac. The whole house streams like big old TVs at any given time. So you never know. The oldest one may be down there like downloading a game that takes a day.
Oh, jeez.
It's like passing a kidney stone. Jared said, "Why didn't Nicholas Harper's mom make the trip to Eugene? Is this telling?" I don't know. I think Dad is kind of another guy. So I don't know. Okay. Clint says Mike Farrell predicted Carolina. Krager says Woody Womack. I'm not even reading that, dude. Anyway, Woody Womack said that Chuck Oliver, good guy. I like Chuck, by the way. He thinks USC is third. Okay. Well, maybe so. Maybe so. South Carolina doesn't think they're third. You know, I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go. It's just kind of funny that, like, and not our guys at 24/7, right? You know, Mike Farrell, actually, it surprises me that he thinks Harbor's going to Carolina. You know, some of these guys, maybe at Rivals or whatever, that don't rank Carolina's guys very high, you know, ever. They rank based on brand. It's kind of funny when you're in a situation like this, you know, they're downplaying the whole thing. You know, because my God, you know, that'll ruin our perfect little, 38 5-stars with 4 schools getting all of them. That doesn't. Of course, that's not realistic. Yeah. You know.
How could South Carolina get a 5-star? That can't happen. He's 39 now.
Carolina hadn't gotten very many.
No, last one was what? Zach Pickens?
Jordan Birch.
Jordan Birch.
Pickens and Birch back-to-back years. And then before that, it was Lattimore and Clowney.
Yep.
And before that, Ricardo Hurley. So this would be the first out-of-state 5-star commit in the modern, what I call the internet recruiting era, which started around 2000. And I know Chris Culliver was a 5-star at Rivals, but Scout didn't have him as high. So if you go kind of composite-y at that time, and ESPN was in the game too, he wasn't a 5. So composite 5-stars, you know, South Carolina's gotten Lattimore, Clowney, Pickens, and Birch, and then this would be Harbor.
Are the on-3 rankings included in the composite rankings now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. I was just making sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they because when Scout folded into 24/7, they just had 3 with ESPN, Rivals, and 24/7, and then the on-3 guys, heck, most of them used to work at 24/7 Sports or Rivals or somewhere. I mean, 2 of the best of the business are Jerry Hamilton and Charles Power, who I know and worked with really closely during my time at 24/7. So, and I actually mentioned that to him. I was like, it doesn't make any sense you're not gaining any sort of strategic advantage by not including them. You know, I mean, their rankings are good too. They're probably better than most, to be honest. So I'm glad they're involved. Clint says Harbor's list of finalists is a little unusual for a 5-star player. I think that speaks to the fact his recruitment hadn't been typical. No, it hadn't. There's a lot of factors, and South Carolina's the only SEC finalist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You
can tell just by looking at it. There's a heavy lean for the track and field, though. I mean, that's why the finalists are the way they are.
Yeah, Maryland, Miami. I don't think Miami's getting them.
Talk about shocking the world.
Yeah, Maryland, Miami, Michigan. So the 3 M's. 2 Big Ten and an ACC, a Pac-12 and an SEC. So we'll see what's going on. Jan said Nola Cock broke down the track draw to Carolina for Harbor. I think the only question is, does he want to play in the SEC or Big 12? Or Pac-12. Did I say Big 12?
Big 12.
Been that kind of week. As you can see behind me, I have a lot of Carolina Rise mailing to do today too. So that's why I didn't even wear a hat. I was like, screw it. We're just going to roll.
Hop on. Let's go.
Clint says, what is Aleppo? It's I think a city in Syria, or it used to be a city in Syria. I think it's under a bunch of rubble now, which is sad. I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis. I didn't mean to make a joke about it, but you know. Joey says, come back to South Carolina and avoid all that drama in 1-degree weather. In time, my friend.
That's right.
In time.
In due
Close
time.
enough. Krager says, tip your waiters. JC will be here all week. Oh, man. 76. Yep. Wow, this is sad. For those of you who pray like me, I do. Please pray for my brother. We literally just got our news of second failed attempt to have his liver transplant since Saturday. It's been a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, 76.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry. It's like passing a kidney stone. Gold, JC, gold. Gold, Jerry, gold.
It's gold.
Makes 76 will feel better. He needs beef, brats, bears, and a Nick Harbor commitment. Nick Harbor.
Yes. That make us all feel better.
Oh, the Aleppo reference was a joke about Gary Johnson. Oh, I remember him. The libertarian guy.
Yes, that's right.
Trump and Hillary.
Jeez. How many times did he
What
run
is
for president?
Aleppo?
6?
I don't know.
Gary Johnson.
Yeah, Kreger says meet Summers too, right? JC, can you get Charles Power on after signing day to discuss our class? I don't know. I don't know. I probably can, but I don't know. Because see, technically our podcast lives on CBS and 24/7 now. We just sort of use their platform, but I'd love to have him. I love Charles. Charles actually was on when he worked for 24/7. He was on with me solo. So there we go. Aleppo and Memphis are the same. Don't know about that. Tiffany's going to be praying for 76. Jim says, on that note, shameless plug, I'm a living kidney donor. Organ donation is amazing. Please consider being a donor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the,
no doubt.
I did the thing on my driver's license. Another Craig Norris. Craig N, if you will.
Craig N.
One of my best friends and teammates, Chris Dodson, Chester OC, and Gaffney alum, was head coach AD at Ware Shoals last week. Ware Shoals, man. The only connection I had to Ware Shoals, there was a girl. I wouldn't even call her my friend. I didn't really like her all that much. I went to high school with. But she was kind of in all of our classes, you know, the college prep honors classes, I guess. Yes, I did take those at Burns. But she wasn't very nice anyway. But her family was from Ware Shoals. So, see, my head's full of useless information like that.
That's right. It just comes out.
I remember this chick named Heather, and she was a real, B.I. you-know-what. And, but hey, her family's from Ware Shoals. That's it. All I know about Ware Shoals. Her family. Krager says we still hadn't offered Staley, but Georgia just did yesterday. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe smallish? I don't know. Perry's leaving Lexington to go to Clover where his dad coached. That's right. And Quantrell, I will answer that question. We'll pause it there because we got to get to Sawyer.
Yep.
Nix,
Sawyer
the mental edge. If I'm a little bit late running back, it's because I went to get a hat on, but Phil could introduce Sawyer and get started with the mental edge. And JC, we'll be right back. Got to make sure some things are running and all that good stuff. But it'll be after these messages. The middle edge, Sawyer Nix, coming up. Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
You know what, Phil? Let's ask Stone Blanton.
Hey JC and Phil, if you want a solution to your IT problems, give Heritage Digital a call. Our boy Matt Odom has a low-cost, one-price solution that will get you running right. Call 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com and ask for Matt. He will hook you up today and tell them Stone sent you.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it, let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
This is freshman All-American Nicky Memorial of the Carolina Gamecocks, and you are listening to The Show with JC and Phil.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, everybody. Presented to you by Express Sunrooms in Columbia. Give John Barber and his team a call or shoot him an email, 803-446-4662, or johnb@expresssunrooms.com. They'll be happy to talk to you about getting some more sunshine into your life this summer. And, of course, the first hour of the show is brought to you by Cindy Searfoss and the Coldwell Banker Kane Realty team here in the upstate. Cindy's out of Spartanburg, 864-414-5271. Give her a call for your upstate residential real estate needs. And we're joined now by Sawyer Nix with the Mental Edge on the McKellar Enterprises guest line. Sawyer, we've been talking about Nick Harbor, right? And,
Yep.
I guess a big question when it comes to recruits is, the influence that the parents have on these kids. Like, where is what do you see, in your experience, like the balance between a parent, being there for a child who has not experienced enough world and experience, to be able to make decisions on their own, and one that, is like a dance mom, if you will, who was kind of driving the train there. Where's the balance?
So my wife Elizabeth, she works in higher ed at Anderson University, and she calls them bulldozer parents. It's not helicopter parents. Used to be the parents that would hover over their kids, and now it's bulldozer parents that pave the way for their kid, that push people out of the way, shove people out of the way. So yeah, it's not a good look, but it is tough. I think part of it comes down to the personality of the student athlete. It comes down to the personality of the parent, and is this their chance to be in the spotlight? They've been, all of a sudden they want to grab the spotlight from the kid, and sometimes parents do that. Sometimes coaches are reliving, I say coaches or parents, they're reliving the missed opportunities that they had. Maybe they weren't good enough or fast enough or strong enough, and so it's that just vicarious reliving of the life that they didn't have. And sometimes parents, for all it's worth, will soak it up. You've seen parents walk off of stage when kids are selecting the school. There's been several videos of those that's happened on commitment day. Kid grabs the hat and the parent takes off. It's like, oh, okay. Not a good look. Not a good look. And so I feel for student athletes too, as hard as it is sometimes for us as outsiders or the parents, or I say the parents, the coaches, they're looking at the parents. I mean, I can't imagine the student athlete looking at the parent who walks off or devalues the decision that they made. And it's not an easy decision. Obviously, the perfect ideal parent would be there to guide the person and help answer questions and go on visits and, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? But I think it's definitely different when the parents like, well, here's what you need, and here's what you got to have, and I want you to have it. It's like, well, they ultimately have to make that decision. Now, the transfer portal has made that easier. Unfortunately, I think now there's not a 4-year commitment from some student athletes, and as we saw it with one of the Gamecocks that went to another school, that happened this year, the parent got heavily involved, and it wasn't necessarily a good look. Sometimes rightfully so, the parent called out a coach. But overall, just that involvement, it's not healthy for the student athlete or the team. And it's a difficult position to be put in, especially as a student athlete. But I think as parents, the best we can do is just guide and definitely not helicopter or even bulldoze. Stay out of the way. It's your child's moment. Let them have it. If they make a bad decision, it's on them. You're there to support them. You're there to help them. But you're not making the decision for them. It's their decision. If they make a bad decision, again, that's their choice.
For sure.
Sawyer Nix with the Mental Edge right here on Inside the Gamecocks, the show. This past weekend, a friend of mine died. I hadn't talked about it a lot on the show because it's, I've been through a lot personally lately, obviously. And at some point, you just get sick of sharing bad news about your life because, I don't know. I know everybody out there cares about me and all that good stuff. And I just, it's broken me up so bad I don't even like talking about it. But my purpose in life is to have a positive impact on others, and if maybe there's other people out there struggling with, the why of things. I don't know that. I think this was not a self-inflicted death or anything. It was, natural death, I suppose. But how do you deal with that grief and that loss? Where somebody that's, if you know since they were a kid, since you're a little boy, that's gone way too soon. How do you kind of work through that?
Well, I mean, certainly there is that disbelief, that denial. Maybe there's that shock factor. Maybe there's some confusion. I think part of it is acknowledging that all of those are very real, that there is sometimes that question, all right, why did this person, why did this person die so young? Why them? They have kids, they have family, they have, they were a big contributor. They were, why is jerk Joe, living it up, and then here's somebody who's humble and worked their entire life and given freely to the community, given, to their families, given time. It's certainly it's hard. It's a hard question to ask. I think sometimes it's giving ourselves some space to kind of acknowledge that there's a lot of different emotions that we go through when we experience loss, and even more so when it's someone it's kind of close to our age or even shocking. And I think certainly I hear about different people going through challenges. When kids pass away from cancer, it's like, oh, I mean, you gotta be kidding me. It's like they're a kid. They don't deserve that. Why? It's one of life's great mysteries that unfortunately we often won't get the answer to. Certainly, it's hard for us to understand or fathom or put into any kind of concepts or terms. But I think accepting that there are different emotions that go on. I think also it's trying to remember and get a fuller picture of, what are the things that we remember that made that person great? Because there's a loss. We have a loss. Generally, we have some sort of attachment or some sort of relationship to that person, whether it's memories. I guess, Jason, you mentioned memories of maybe growing up. And certainly those happen. I think it's how do we incorporate those to get a full picture so that we can, this is really hard, but man, I'm glad I had some of those good times. And being able to reflect on those. I think that's really important. But we do go through a different range of emotions, and I think it's hard to talk, but I really appreciate you, JC, being vulnerable and being able to share that. And I think that's important, and being able to get through some losses, I think, is being able to not shove it in a box and try and shove that box in a closet, but whether it's interpersonally ourselves or with others, to go through that, to allow those emotions to come out, whether it's crying or anger or confusion. Hey, God gives us emotions for a reason, and they're not bad. They're sometimes they are painful, but being able to experience those, and then again being able to get a fuller picture. And sometimes there's people that feel disconnected. They feel numb. Like, well, I don't feel anything. I thought I'd feel really hurt or really painful because I lost this close friend or this family member, and I don't feel anything. Well, sometimes feeling numb and disconnected, that's a tough feeling. But again, allowing that to kind of play out and being able to process that and think through that and connect with others is really important, as well as continuing to, again, take care of ourselves. We need to eat, we need to sleep. Even when we go through grieving periods, it's important that we continue to try and focus on those things as well as we think through and as we kind of sort through those different emotions, which are mixed and aren't necessarily good or positive emotions. But I think that's just one of the challenges that we face, and some people have different experiences in loss. But again, it's being able to just accept some of that and process those different things where it's writing things out, reflecting on memories. Those are all important steps to take.
All right, Sawyer, you said it all there, man. I certainly appreciate that personally. And just for anybody out there, that may need to kind of deal with some grief. That's part of life and all that good stuff. But we're up against it, so we got to hit a break. And next time you're on, man, you'll be part of the Power Trio.
It'll be a quattro because I'll be the fourth wheel.
That's right, the fourth wheel. So that we're looking forward to that. But thanks so much, Sawyer, for joining us, and we'll holler at you soon.
Yeah, look forward to next week and again being that fourth wheel. Be glad to, if anybody wants to jump on as a sponsor. One of the things I'm going to hopefully add to my Twitter feed is maybe a midweek musing and just a thought or something, a video short clip, and want to add some information and have a goal of trying to contribute some to Carolina Rides, and also hopefully upgrade my equipment one day so things aren't as shady and entry level, be a little more professional. So if anybody wants to jump in, I'd love to connect.
All right. Thanks, Sawyer. At Sawyer Nix on Twitter. At Sawyer Nix on Twitter. All right. Thanks, man. Hey, we're going to hit a break. We'll be back after these messages to wrap up hour number 1 of the show right after this.
All right. Bye.
Hey, man.
Just as your State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home, auto, life, or small business insurance with Tony Pope State Farm Insurance today. And guess what you'll get? That's right, even more good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, Tony Pope State Farm is your go-to agent anywhere in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home, life, auto, and or small business insurance today. Tony Pope State Farm has been in business for more than 30 years and can handle anything you need in the tri-state area. Once again, Tony Pope State Farm will help you mix and match perfectly. Call 843-851-2222 or visit TonyPope.com today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Whoop, whoop, easy. He's got a tiger by the tail, he has.
He better hang on too.
People have spoken. Nana's Porch was voted the 3rd best food truck or trailer by the Charlotte newspaper Public Poll. Also, their pimento cheese took 3rd in a contest exclusively for products made in the state of North Carolina. I will let Noah Hall tell you about the rest. Nana's Porch, Southern cuisine with an uptown twist. If you're in the upstate of South Carolina and are in need of residential real estate services, Cindy Bass Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane is for you. Ask her about the village at Creekside, all of her listings in my hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina, right there on Daniel Morgan Avenue, married to a lifelong Gamecock fan. And many of our listeners have already bought homes from her and been 100% satisfied with the detail and care she uses. Cindy Searfoss, 864-414-5271, Caldwell Banker Kane in the upstate for your real estate needs.
This is Braylon Wimmer, South Carolina Gamecock Baseball, and you are listening to Inside the Gamecocks, the show with JC and Phil. Go Cox!
Yes. Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, everybody. Sometimes the show that goes on behind the scenes is better than the one we can put on the air. That's all I'm going to say. Brought to you by Express Sunruns of Columbia. 803-446-4662 is how you get in touch with John Barber and his team down there. Give them a call. They'll be happy to talk to you about potentially enclosing a patio porch for you. And hell, it's still the first hour, so let's talk about Cindy. She's going to help you out here in Spartanburg with your upstate residential real estate needs. 864-414-5271. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, we got it covered too. We got a mortgage company.
Yeah,
Union Home Mortgage coming on. My boy Kevin O'Connell, he's coming online tomorrow. So if you're in the upstate, you can go to Cindy. If you're in the low country, Columbia, you can go with Jamie Bradford's Coast to Coast Realty.
Coast to Coast, we'll be hearing about that.
You got a mortgage company too, so you can really. I think eventually we're gonna have everything here where you don't really have to spend any money with anybody but our sponsors, right? We need Aldi, the grocery.
I was going to say,
sponsor.
we need a grocery sponsor, and we need to get with
Save
some brewery. Yeah,
well, a brewery. Yeah,
if we need a brewery and a distillery, will be okay.
Brian does ask, can we get a Mike Morgan segment? That's Mike did that segment with JB and Goldwater. If he can get that lined up again, I talked to Mike about it the other day. Of course, Mike and I do the JC and Morgan College Football podcast. That podcast gets iffy when he when Mike has to travel and schedules don't line up and stuff like that. And during basketball season, he's doing SEC basketball weekday, all that. But man, I you're preaching to the choir about that. Quantrell said, "Saw Louisville rename their stadium for $41 million. Do you think USC will ever do something like that?" No. Well, $41 million.
That's maybe a lot of money.
Well, and here's the thing too.
Louisville,
their stadium's relatively new, right? And it was Papa John Stadium for a while. Jeez. Then it went back to Cardinal Stadium. Now it's back to whatever they're calling it now. And Kentucky renamed Commonwealth to Kroger Field. But most college football fields that are kind of in hotbeds don't do that for traditional reasons. I mean, I can't see it. Maybe Bank of America Field at Williams-Brice Stadium. I don't know. Something field. I don't know.
If anybody does it, it'd be Colonial Life,
Yeah.
Colonial
Founders.
Life Field or Founders. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, though, Quantrell. I do think, the Under Armour deal, I don't think it'd be too much longer to where it'd be realistic for Carolina to back out. I don't even know if they'd have to buy it out or not. No idea. 76 says, along the Nick Harbor front, it's a beautiful thing to watch him run. A guy at his size with his speed is more than impressive. Yes, Lance is going to party hard if Harbor hits. That's not a surprise. Mm-hmm. Carolina Titan, what's the real issue with Hardy? Heard he wasn't signing with the Gamecocks. Grades. I mean, the kid really wasn't a projected qualifier when he committed, and then he had to go to a new school. A public school from a private school, so he's probably going to go JUCO. I know they'll probably get him back. Krager asked if they move up over anyone in front of the rankings if they get Harbor. Not per 24/7 Sports. I actually did the class calculator. There's a big numerical gap between the 15th and 16th ranked class. So even Nick Harbor would not be enough to push the Gamecocks ahead of Southern Cal. But yeah, I think Hardy will be back at some point. Clint says, seems like I remember a Bama LSU battle where mom refused to sign. Maybe Leo Collins. It was Landon Collins, the safety, because he went to Bama. And she was like, no, LSU. The funniest one was Alex Collins, okay? Another guy named Collins, right?
Yeah.
From South Florida, from Plantation, Florida. Mom wanted Miami and wanted him to stay at home. Brett Bielema had just gotten to Arkansas, and their guys, they hired was it Charlie Partridge that was the South Florida recruiter down there? Anyway, Brett Bielema comes in, and he's like, man, I'm going to give you 1 million carries. You're going to come here and be, the next whoever, like at Wisconsin. And Arkansas got him. They did a great job of recruiting him. Mom steals the letter of intent and runs away. Now, keep in mind, man, this is the same year. This is one of my final years covering national recruiting at 24/7, right? Probably one of the most interesting years I've ever had covering it. Because keep in mind, I believe this is the same year where Chris Jones, who plays for the Chiefs now, is deciding between Mississippi and Mississippi State. And literally was driving back and forth. Those two schools they're both in northern Mississippi. He literally was driving back and forth between both schools. I think maybe getting a bag. and playing the cards right. Hey, look, I got to get a break. We got to break. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
You can't handle the truth. Gamecock Nation, do you need a place to stay for the big game? Many hotel booking engines keep all the commissions, but at Fan Plans, you support Inside the Gamecocks, still earn your hotel loyalty points, and you receive an email with direct confirmation from the hotel. Whether you are visiting Columbia to cheer on Carolina or hitting the road to follow the team, get in the stands with Fan Plans. Yep, time to get back to the show. Shoot. All right, my man.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show. The show is presented to you by Express Sunrooms of Columbia. As we all know, John Barber, 803-446-4662. Give him a call. Mention you heard it here. Get $500 off your next project. Well, that was abrupt. Are you back, JC, or did you turn your headphones off? I love it. Wi-Fi headphones, technology, back and forth. So as y'all can see, we've had a lot going on here the past couple of weekends. So yeah, it's been nuts.
I'm not sure. All right, am I back?
We can hear you. I'll get rid of the echo.
I mean, I didn't. This is ridiculous. I mean, I got up for like. I left the headphones here. There's no reason.
Yeah. All of this.
All right, I think I'm back now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, now you can hear me. So there'll be an echo. So anyway, back and forth. Back and forth we go, and I don't know what.
We lost your mic, JC. We cannot hear you anymore.
How did my
mic
mic go?
There you go. You're back now for whatever reason.
All right. So anyway, that was a phone call I had to get for personal reasons. That's why we jumped a break, and then everything disconnected.
That's right. Hey.
Anyway,
it's been a hell of a few days.
It was an important call, and I'm going to call him back. And Phil, I'll actually be following up with you about it after that phone call kind of involved you too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so by the way, C-Pain, I got your text yesterday. I will respond soon. Big Y says Candace Parker signing with the Las Vegas Aces. What do you think about that when it comes to women's basketball and Carolina girls in the league? That's where Asia Wilson plays. This Vegas, right?
Yep.
Probably a pretty good deal, I would guess.
Another title. Didn't they just win?
Yeah, they won.
The W title?
Asia
Yeah.
Wilson's
Candace Parker, probably not going to hurt that effort again.
Yeah, no doubt. Clement just rushes on Garner's Ferry Field at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yes. That's right.
KFC says, did JC have to take a fast poop? Not in that break.
Yep, wasn't that break?
Hey, JC, you're tired of the same old computer guy? Yep. Wow. So that's crazy. But yeah, so that same class, Chris Jones, it was like a big, huge saga. He ended up signing with Mississippi State, and that was interesting and all that. But that was a very interesting year with Landon Collins or with Alex Collins. I mean, literally, she stole the NIL and ran away. Stole it and ran away. Like, ran away. Away.
Away.
He didn't sign 3 days later. They were trying to figure out, can we get around the mom or whatever?
Wow.
So that was the thing there. So that's the thing. VJ says, I have a good lead on a good idea that Harbor will be announcing for the good guys in 24 hours. By the way, unless we get word, I don't know. There's a chance we may hold over a little bit tomorrow with Jamie for the Harbor announcement. Maybe not, kind of depending on people's schedule. But we'll have coverage of that tomorrow because it's supposed to go down right at 1. So may have a little 10-minute overage or something with that right there. But yeah, I think, some of these stories are really interesting with the parents that get involved. That's kind of what we were talking to Sawyer about a little bit. But I've never, the Landon Collins thing, that was, some people say it was kind of an act, that she was fine with him going to Bama. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that on national television. And then you had Jordan Burch situation, which was weird a few years ago for Carolina. And it comes to find out it got even weirder when he hit the portal. And so that was sort of an interesting thing toward the end and all that. She refused to sign or didn't sign the NIL, finally signed it late. All that good stuff. So, but usually, I don't think there'll be any drama with Nick Harbor other than, this is an announcement where I think everybody's kind of a little bit weird. And I'll say this too. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, well, I'm kind of like not as confident. And it may be because sometimes coaching staffs are confident. It's their job to be confident, that kind of thing. And it's their job to kind of know what they know. But they also know that it doesn't always work out, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I started thinking about Shane Beamer, and I'm like, well, the Gamecocks have lost recruit. I mean, it's not like they've swept the state, swept. They basically have kind of swept the state, except, they did lose Antonio Williams late to Clemson. They've lost recruits, right, under Beamer. But Shane Beamer, when it comes time to do the typical Gamecock thing, hadn't Shane Beamer surprised everybody? I mean, think about it on the field. You're like, a struggle, a bad loss, which is a typical Gamecock thing. Obviously, it happens. It happened to everybody here. But we're going to that Tennessee game. All of us going, I mean, we're like Bears fans. 59-10.
Yeah.
I think I picked 59-13. And they turn around and run 60. Yeah, they're not going to cover 63-38. And then it's like, well, no way they can do it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, right.
They beat Clemson in different fashion, where they had to come from behind, which is uncharacteristic. So I mean, doesn't Beamer? Didn't he surprised us all before? When we're like, yeah, it could happen, but no way. Like somebody on YouTube left we have a poll up, by the way. Will they get Harbor, yes or no? And somebody said, till they get an out-of-state 5-star, no. Well, he's right. They hadn't gotten an out-of-state 5-star.
Well,
I don't think that matters a damn bit about anything. Out-of-state 5-stars don't necessarily make you or break you in recruiting at all.
There are more states out of state than there are 5-stars every cycle.
Yeah. So it's, but I just, I mean, it's nice to do. It shows you got recruiting reach, and you can go outside of your state and attract some of the best players in the country to your school. But, not that that's going to, oh my God, they signed an out-of-state 5-star. Let's start sizing up the trophy case for that the Sears Trophy or whatever. Is it still called this? It's not the Sears Trophy anymore. That was the BCS. Sears is going out of business anyway. It was never wait a minute. It was never the Sears Trophy. Was it the Sears Trophy?
No,
was the Sears Trophy for like overall athletic department thing? Anyway, there's not. I don't know if Sears has completely gone out of business yet.
The former coach's trophy. Yeah.
The former coach's trophy is the Sears Trophy.
Annual. Yeah.
The Crystal Football.
The Crystal Football was
awarded to the national champion. What the Sears Trophy? I don't know. Let's see. Birch. It was LSU and Georgia. Those were the two. And at different points, LSU and Georgia felt good about it. Hayne was asking who it came down to the first time. LSU, Georgia, Clemson felt really, really good about Jordan Birch for a long time and then ended up not getting him. But, that's the whole thing. Rakeem says, does Harbor play tight end or wide receiver if he commits? I think receiver. Maybe you start him at a tight end-ish position. Like Josh Simon's coming in from Western Kentucky. He's a guy that, could be used as a receiver, but he's going to work with Jody Wright's group. So, maybe that. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling they'll probably, I don't know. They may rotate him between Stepp and Sterling Lucas and say, hey, go get the ball on defense. Go rush the passer on defense and we'll throw you some 9 routes and some jump balls and stuff on offense. But, yes, I don't know. You hear the talk about, well, he doesn't really want to gain the weight to be an end, tight end or defensive end. So where's he going to play? Well, receiver. And South Carolina does not have a whole lot of big, tall receivers. They've got big-bodied guys like Xavier Legette. Omega Blake's got a bigger-bodied guy. But, so it would be good. Was Oregon smart to have his official visit in the middle of winter? Well, the Pacific Northwest is kind of and a lot of you guys live up there. I mean, I know it does get cold up there in the winter, but not as cold as like the actual Midwest, Northeast, maybe. But yeah, the weather there, it was cold this past weekend. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but the kid's from DC, so he's used to crappy weather, I would guess.
Yeah, it gets chilly up there.
So that's the deal there. But, VJ says Harbor plays Megatron. Doesn't matter where he lines up. VJ says the Sears Trophy isn't like that the Blockbuster Video Bowl. Hey, don't knock the Blockbuster Bowl, man. Those are some good. The Blockbuster Bowl was a really good bowl until it became the CarQuest Bowl. I think 2 years after 2 years before Carolina won it, it went down a notch. Now it's the Cheez-It Bowl. The bowl. Some of these bowls have moved around, like the Hall of Fame Bowl, which is now the Outback. Well, now the ReliaQuest Bowl, which was the Outback Bowl, was in Birmingham for a while. So Carolina's actually played in that game. Technically, they've been to Tampa 5 times, so they've been in the Hall of Fame Bowl 6. Lost to Missouri. First game I ever went to. First Carolina game I ever attended in my life was in Birmingham, Alabama. Rainy and cold and disgusting, and of course the Gamecocks lost.
Jeez.
KFC says my house is a Sears catalog home from 1907.
Nice.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
I like that. Also says Harbor on punt returns, kind of like Hayden Hurst that one year under Muschamp.
Oh God.
They put Hurst back there. Some people get that confused. And it's kind of like the I guess the negative legend of Will Muschamp, because it's kind of like people thought that Kurt Roper was his OC his whole time at Florida, and it really was there a year. Still, Kurt Roper wasn't that good. Muschamp only played Hurst at punt returner once, and that was in 2016. I think maybe 2 games, maybe A&M and Georgia. Carolina lost both of them. He didn't stick there, but people think he did it the whole time Hurst was here.
Mm-hmm.
Hurst played a whole other year and didn't return punts. Now, Kurt Roper loved the Hayden Hurst end around.
Yeah.
Which it worked one time against Missouri. One of the slowest developing plays I've ever seen. That one, Perry Orth's keeper against A&M in 2015, and Damani Staley's pick 6 against East Carolina in 2021. Three slowest.
Slow-mo.
But dude, Hurst got 2 blocks. He broke 2 tackles and rumbled into the end zone. I think we kind of knew he was going to be a special player at that point, but he kept trying it. He kept going to the well. Yeah, Debo Samuel you could have given the ball to. Well, Debo got hurt in 2017. You could have given it to A.J. Turner. There was a lot of guys on that team you could have given it in the rounds. No, Hurst. Wouldn't throw him the ball. Wouldn't throw Hayden the ball at all. Nope. But would only selectively dialed up ball plays for him. But definitely ran that in around a whole bunch. But Krager says Damani's still running. KFC says watch Birch tell Harbor not to go to USC. Probably so.
I had a thought about that. And I'm like, I wonder how much FaceTime he's getting with Jordan Birch.
I mean, who's he going to listen to, though? Jordan Birch or guys from his hometown?
Yeah, guys from his hometown or, people like Spencer Rattler, who I'm sure he's talked to, and,
Yeah, So that's, that in a round against Missouri, Clint points out, was only a 2 or 3 yard play. Yeah, it was like second
it was a goal line play. Yeah.
But, I mean, literally broke 4 tackles. He got 2 good blocks and broke 4 tackles, scored, drug a guy into the end zone. Roper's like, that's a good play. That's a really good play.
We need to do that again.
Kurt Roper's head. I called it the magic egg.
The magic egg.
He had one of those oval heads,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's open up the magic egg. My champ opens it up and screams and some obscenity into it. It comes out with ball plays.
Comes out with ball plays.
All right, here's what we're going to run.
Yeah. Like an old teletype machine or something. It's like a stock ticker. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Here's some more. Oregon is confident now, folks. Bill has some info. Just watched an interview with Steve Wiltfong on 24/7 Sports and said Harbor's visit to Oregon went very well. Asked Dad what they liked the most about Oregon. His answer was Nike. Gave a slight lean to Oregon. So, okay, so you got 2 Nike. You have 2 Under Armour schools in Maryland and South Carolina. You got Miami. Are they Nike? Miami's probably. I know Michigan's Jumpman. I think Miami's Nike, or Adidas, and then Oregon, the Nike school. Krager says that's how good our O-line was. You had to break 4 tackles from the 3-yard line.
Yeah, Nike is Adidas. That's interesting.
Miami is Adidas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I knew they had switched at some point.
Yeah, 12-year deal.
Miami and Florida State are never going to – because Florida's Jumpman, and Miami, Florida State's never switching from Nike. Brave Red Cock. That's a funny name. 1 play to get a first down to save your life, Roper or Satterfield. 1 play?
Down in distance?
Are they designing it or calling it? I'm telling you, I'm going with Sat. Well, yeah, you probably need it down in distance to make that argument. Like Phil's right about that.
3rd and 8, I might go Roper.
Sat was a little bit more ballsy, I guess.
Oh, it's a 3rd and 10. You haven't done anything. So maybe it is a
3rd and
Satterfield
10
call.
Neither?
Yeah.
Because they're both going to call a play with a pass play short of the sticks.
Pete Limbo.
There you go. The head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. Well, shoot, we're not going to throw it short of the sticks, are we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, 3rd and 10, given those choices, I run the ball and then let Pete do some magic on 4th down.
Jared says Harbor doesn't need Oregon to get Nike. Seems like he gets sponsorship on his own. That's true. But I don't know, Phil. I just don't know.
I mean, it's.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I read this on the old Twitter there. I don't know who said it. I wish I could credit whoever it was, but I think, the school that he picks tomorrow will determine where his heart really lies with which sport. Right? You take Oregon, obviously his heart's with track and field. You pick South Carolina, you feel like you could do well with track and field, but your heart really long term lies with football. I thought that was fairly decent analysis. You just don't know. Quantrell's right. He's trying to go to Paris. He's trying to get to the Olympics. That's what it's all about.
That's the SEC. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're trying to get into the Olympics that quick, I don't know. Just go.
I think he already could. I mean, we've seen what he's been doing in track and field. I mean, he should be able to go.
I just don't. That's a quick turnaround. But so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But maybe the 2028 Olympics, I guess, would be a little more realistic if you're going to play football. But look. Oregon, if you're looking at other schools that have been confident, like Carolina, I think Oregon's that other school.
Yeah.
I'll say this though, they've got a lot of coaches on that staff out there that are always super confident and have been at every stop in their career. So I'll just make that point about Oregon. Guys like Tosh Lupoy and even Dan Lanning, those guys don't normally. I mean, they're seasoned recruiters, and I've seen them get a whole bunch of guys, but I've also seen them lose some guys when they are extremely confident. So we'll see. But I don't. Honestly, I don't.
I mean, if you look at it from a business decision standpoint, football is the better long-term play for your financial freedom, if you will. Hard to create generational wealth in track and field.
It's true. Brian has a okay, so here's what he said. South Carolina and Oregon. So here you go. So he's putting it he put this out. And also, NIL-wise, he's like, I'm a popular athlete. I could be as popular as Bronny James or Arch Manning because of my dual sport athleticism. I won't be one of those kids that you offered $8 million. It won't work like that. Distance from home is working against Oregon. Relationships are stronger. It's South Carolina versus Oregon, but never rule out Loxley. So that's a VIP article. I shouldn't have read it because somebody just joined. I hope you won't get your money's worth. I didn't read you the whole thing, but that's the synopsis of the latest from Brian Doan, our people. So you can kind of safely now say it's Carolina or Oregon. And Hale also has an update about Champ Sports is sponsoring. Oh, well. So anyway, lots of stuff going on with this kid, man. Celebrity. So anyway. But, and somebody did point out the Maryland folks. Now they're saying South Carolina has the largest NIL offer on the table. I don't know, man. I'd be surprised if it was larger than Oregon's. But I do think distance from home is something there. So, hey, look, I actually think that's good news, folks, because I kind of expected, it's Oregon or Michigan today or something like that. But it's, I think it looks up. It looks like Carolina's got a good shot. Distance from home is probably pretty good. Quantrell says, call me crazy, but I think Nike factors in a lot of recruitments. How major kids factor it in. Think about who the biggest brands are in football. They're all Nike outside of Notre Dame and who else? Yeah, kind of. So Ohio State's Nike now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Michigan's Jumpman, which technically isn't Nike, but it is, right? Jumpman's a different thing. Jumpman made $19.5 billion gross revenue. But a B. Yeah.
Wow. $1,900 million.
Yeah. And I think, Shane Beamer's worked just about all the schools he's been at except South Carolina. And I think Mississippi State, when he was there, may have been Adidas or something. All the schools he's worked at have been Nike, too. I'm pretty sure Dawn Staley and Lamont Paris would prefer Nike. I don't think Mark Kingston cares. I don't think baseball cares. But it's a deal where I thought the Under Armour deal was really good at the time because Carolina was Russell Athletic, which is about like Kmart.
I mean, yeah, right. Yeah. Like, might as well have been Bike.
Kmart was a cheap brand, right? Back in the day, and now it's almost non-existent. It's not even a cheap brand anymore. You can go Puma and probably get better than Russell Athletic, right? Puma would be kind of cool.
That's right. Asics.
But I'm with you. I think it's time. I think the Under Armour deal sort of run its course. They lost me kind of during the Muschamp era when there was a clear decision on the part of the football staff to change uniforms every week. And there really wasn't. I mean, I guess they did a couple of. Well, those were helmets though. It was the script, and they did the throwbacks, but it never looked right. I don't know. I mean, Under Armour's fine for now. It's not something where I would go and invest $20 million and lose $20 million to change it right now.
Yeah.
But I think they definitely need to kind of look at it a little way closely. And I to me, it doesn't cost the Gamecocks as much as people think, because there's a lot of successful programs out there that are Under Armour or Adidas or whatever that aren't Nike. But Quantrill makes a point. The bigger brands are Nike or Jumpman. So Trey says if a kid's picking a school based on apparel versus getting to the next level in a relationship with the staff, then they aren't sold on a school, they're sold on an apparel brand. That's true if that's the deciding factor. But with this kid, Trey, it's different. It's not. He's not just like a 5-star football player. He's a Olympic athlete. Endorsements matter a ton.
Yeah.
Name, image, likeness is going to matter to a certain extent. I think South Carolina's got a competitive plan in place for him. In fact, I know they do. Talking to some sources or contacts rather. Straight cash flow right up front. I'd be shocked if the Gamecocks had more on the table than Oregon, and they certainly don't than Miami.
No, so, I mean, Miami cut a check for whatever they need.
Yeah, Ruiz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. Champion seems to be making a little comeback too. Our kid, the 14-year-old loves Champion.
Mm.
The sweatshirts and stuff. So, Jeff Fowler says he likes Russell Athletic. Spurrier wouldn't wear it when he got here.
Not the shoes.
And no, the cleats were gone. He was like, "No, we're going to go with Reebok for 2 years with shoes because we don't have to wear their shoes." Contract didn't say anything about cleats, so they went with Reebok cleats because of the NFL, and then Spurrier wore his own personally designed shirts and visors that said Carolina and had his signature on them. You got an ego when you wear a shirt on the sideline and thumb your nose at the apparel contract, right? I'm sorry, I can't wear that.
Not wearing that.
I'm head ball coach. I'm used to Nike, and we wore Nike at Florida. It's real sharp, and so he's like, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna wear these shirts with my signature on them, and he's selling them online. Every weekend, I'm just gonna be a walking billboard. Steve Spurrier Inc., baby. Yeah, head ball coach Inc. Yeah,
head ball coach Inc. HBC LLC.
Trey says, I think it'll come down to what Phil said. Tomorrow we'll know which sport his heart's in the most. Trey, I agree. That's an excellent point. I agree with you and Phil. KFC says, where's Miami getting all this money? Ruiz?
Yep.
The NIL
His name
money.
is John Ruiz.
Ruiz. He's the guy that's loading up with NIL. Now, Miami did something smart a couple of years ago, investment-wise. You guys have heard about the 1110 project or whatever at South Carolina. This thing at South Carolina that they're hoping to do would be similar to this. Not exactly, not the same industry or anything. But Miami invested in a hospital system, right? And in this country, we have for-profit hospitals, which we can all debate that on another show. You know, you guys can probably guess. Look, I'm okay with for-profit hospitals for the most part, although they fleece you. I got a big bill myself the other day, but anyway, but you can make money owning a hospital, right? Well, they're not just making money; they're making crazy money. So that's how they're able to, like, pay Mario Cristobal. Like, they would have never paid a coach that much money had they not had that extra flow coming in from the hospital system. So the university is rich and flush with cash. And they're investing back in athletics. The NIL part of it at Miami is all Ruiz. And I think he's going to get in trouble because he's very blatant about it. You know, I signed this guy before he's ever signed, you know, and that's the part the NCAA says, no, you can't do that. So, I don't know. Daryl makes a good point here. He says everybody keeps talking about Oregon track, but nobody knows how well Curtis Fry at Carolina's been able to produce. Yeah. Multiple Olympians. I mean, he's a legendary track coach as far as getting guys ready for the Olympics and running and all of that good stuff. So, and someone asked me about that this morning on 107.5 about Curtis Fry. Will that be a big factor? Yes. Absolutely. And that's probably not been stated enough. And it's probably because Curtis Fry has been at South Carolina, you know, since I was 7 years old or something. Now, he's been at Carolina a long time. And some people just kind of like, oh, it's Curtis Fry, the track coach. Is, you know, somebody that is like, is that the track coach still Curtis Fry? Yeah, it still is. But so that's the deal there. Quantrell says, are you guys staying over for the live Harbor commitment? I will give you a maybe on that. A maybe.
If we can, I would think if we can. If schedules work out, we won't mind, yeah.
Mark says apparel has always ruled basketball. It's only right seeping its way into football, especially with NIL. Yeah, I don't know. NIL-wise, I don't know. I think, all right, so, and sometimes when teams lose, everything is wrong. You know, the apparel, the jerseys, the uniforms, the pregame music, the doo-doo ice in the stadium, the lines in the bathroom. I mean, everybody's just like, okay. And so I think that, you know, because they did have issues with those cleats early, like 07, 08-ish, 09-ish, and they got it fixed because I haven't heard anything bad about the Under Armour cleats since. You hear rumors, but it's not widespread like it once was, where you knew there was just that's a piece of crap shoe you got on. You got to have good shoes, right?
You got to have a good pair of shoes. Yes.
Yeah. It's like something you're on. You got to get you a good pair of shoes.
Get you a good pair of shoes.
But, so my understanding is the cleats have gotten a lot better. But look, I think that apparel contracts used to be sort of a big lifeblood for a program. I think now they're just a very nice extra income stream to have because of the TV money being crazy. So I think what you do is you say, all right, well, we're going to go with whatever makes our players the most comfortable and happy apparel wise. You know, I think that's what you got to do at this point. You know, I think when South Carolina signed the Under Armour deal, hell, it was better than Russell Athletic. Anything was better than Russell. You know who stuck with Russell for a while? Georgia Tech under Paul Johnson, because he didn't care.
Because he got what you wear.
Ain't what you wear. It's how you play the option. Hey, Clemson fan rant. We're going to respect this valley. Respect the valley.
Respect the valley.
Krager has a question for you, Phil. Phil said your wife's a teacher. What line of work are you in?
She is. I am I'm a broadcaster. I'm a broadcaster. No, and a service industry professional as well as an entrepreneur. No, yes. No, I used to be in insurance. I worked in the wholesale industries for 20 some years, and then went into insurance, and now I'm hosting an internet radio show and filling in the gaps while it grows by working a part-time gig. That's Phil's occupation
Phil's
story.
being pretty modest. Phil built a business that sold like, of course the owner's got that money, for 12 point something $million. So, Phil's being a little modest about, it's 20 years in wholesale. Phil built a dang empire.
Well, I came in on the empire. I didn't build it. I didn't build it.
I don't know.
Helped run and manage it.
KFC says his friend Carson was a tight end under Holtz and Spurrier. He said they got one pair of shorts and a T-shirt to work out in, and that was all. The Russell athletic gear was awful. I'm going to tell you this right now. You're not getting the one shorts and one T-shirt, and that's it right here. My Russell athletic T-shirt. It says Carolina football on it, just like my hat. My son Skippy had a learning disability. He had to go to Holy Cross Junior College. You couldn't get it Notre Dame. Well, I'll tell you right now, you take the one pair of shorts and the one shirt, and you get in here, bust your ass. I'm going to run you till you throw up and these team down and drugs of puke. I'll tell you this right now. We're not gonna be backing down from anybody in the country. I don't care if we lost over 11 games last year. The plane crashed. We come back, pick me up. Plane crashed. Pilot dead. What am I doing here?
It's not bad.
Nothing right for my Lou Holtz has gotten a lot better.
Been there.
It's like Lou Holtz is here with a hair lip.
Some of the
hair lip Lou Holtz.
You got some of the Coach O cadence coming through in the Lou Holtz, though. It's interesting. Like
I'm going to tell you right now. They put on their one shirt just like we do, Cricker said. Just like we do. And if Bo Schembechler wants a piece of me, tell him he can meet me right now at the 50-yard line. Tommy Bowden, 2 little pennyweights. I'll beat his butt. All right. So my Lou's gotten a lot better. I used to not be able to do Lou. But it's just kind of and then talk like that. And talk like that.
A bit more spittle, though, for the older Lou.
Just remember the lisp.
A little more lisp. Yeah, there it is.
I'm going to tell you right now about my son Skip. Haynes said Eric Kimry does a great Holtz impersonation. He does. Some of those guys that played for him are unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. Courtney Levitt. Yeah, best Holtz impersonation. JC doesn't like Holtz confirmed. I actually do like Lou Holtz. I thought Lou left Carolina just like he left every place else he coached. Kind of a mess, but he won, He won some games and accomplished some stuff, It was crazy because Lou and Spurrier both left the program like not so good. I actually think Muschamp probably left a little better, believe it or not. That's something we can debate over the summer. But they left it a mess in different ways. Spurrier just left no talent because he wasn't all that adept with recruiting and knowing how to hire recruiters and things like that. So the talent was way down. Holtz left players, but there was a litany of off-the-field problems. They were very undisciplined. I'll tell you this right now. When I left South Carolina, they were very undisciplined. You got to go more Daffy Duck. Or is that Porky Pig? That's awful.
Yeah, that's Porky.
So we have a certified Disney planner that's an affiliate of the show now, and I think I'm going to cut her a commercial where I'm goofy. Gosh, guys, I'd like for you to come see me. Gosh. Don't ask me to do Donald Duck. My face vibrates.
I can't do that. No, I couldn't even try.
Joey says, hey, JC, it seems like ESPN recruiting rankings seem to be different than the other services more often than not. Do you know anyone that works for them? Yeah, Tom Luganbill, Craig Hobart, Billy Tucker. Those guys have a little bit different philosophy, and that's why I like them being part of the composite because they just look at it straight on film grade. Like they were sitting in a coach's office doing it. You know, they don't pay attention to offers. They don't pay attention to this, that, and the other. They don't have as many data points. And when I worked for ESPN, you know, they would solicit feedback from guys like me and Jerry, but they're the ones that do it. And that's their brand is like, okay, we're going to have guys that coached in college do all of our rankings. And it's the guys from Scouts Inc. that kind of came through with Todd McShay was part of Scouts Inc. and all that. Really good guys. And I loved working there. As far as a job goes where I had to work for someone else, ESPN was the best job I've ever had. Dude, I had an American Express card to travel. Like, didn't have to fill out the daggum anything.
Expense report and all that. Nah, you just use a company card, right? Yeah, nice.
My check every month came from the Walt Disney Company. I was like, yeah, hell yeah. You know, here I'm gonna turn around and give it right back to you and spend $5,000 going to Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you took a lot of Disney trips during those years too.
Yeah, they got it all back for me now. Most of it, right? So, you know. Yeah, Joey makes a good point. The other three are similar, around 100, and then a guy won't even be in the top 300 for them. Yeah, that's how they do it. But I really like that, them being a part of it because they are so different. And if you look at their rankings through the years, they've got some wins. 24/7 has some wins. Rivals has some wins. Scout had some wins. On 3 will have some wins. They really roughly accuracy-wise are about the same. That's why I think 24/7 Sports Composite is the best way to do it because different people have different ways of evaluating. You know that from the NFL. Look at how many NFL personnel people you get on the record about one player. Get 8 of them on the record, they're going to tell you 8 different things. And some of it's just going to be a lie because they actually love the kid and want to draft him, so they're trashing him. Hey, I heard he's got a wooden kickstand protruding from his tailbone.
That's right.
He can't stand up. He's an easel. You have to paint on him. He's terrible. We're not taking him. We hope the Lions take him.
Left foot.
We dare the Lions to take him at 2. And the Lions like, no, we won't take him then. And then, sure enough, it's like the Bears are drafting. It wouldn't be the Bears. They're not that sly. They'll tell you exactly what they're in. We're going to trade Justin Fields for a sack of beef sandwiches and a Cornish hen. It's a good deal. Haynes said Rattler just sent a message to Harbor. Yeah, on Twitter. This is one thing about the South Carolina players now, and they've always sort of done this. They are super aggressive on recruiting on Twitter.
Yes, that
helps Shane Beamer quite a bit.
Yeah, I haven't seen Bo Nix reach out.
Bo Nix. Beauregard Nix.
Isn't he coming back for another year? How old is Bo Nix?
He's 147 years old. Cat Williams has new stand-up out. He's talking about Biden, and it's funny. Joe Biden is 99 years old. He says he uses a little more colorful language than that. Cat Williams is hilarious. So we'll see. All right, so we got one more break, Phil? Is that it? Or we got 2?
Well, we already hit it. we had the emergency break, so that kind of hit the second break in the second hour.
Oh, we're out of breaks.
I can play a new break that we're going to.
I thought we had one more. I thought we had 5 because I didn't think we took one early because we were late.
No, we did. We ended up taking one before Sawyer. We took one after Sawyer. We took
one right after that.
Yeah, we've run through breaks. I can play a 30-second spot if you need a little break.
Nah.
All right.
That's fine. We'll just keep rocking and rolling.
That's right.
By the way, also, as we told you, Jamie Bradford is joining us tomorrow full time, and he'll bring a little more professionalism to this outfit.
Bit more polished.
So somebody asked earlier, are we still going to have a good time? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, we it's like when he comes on Wednesdays anyway, we usually drag him down into into our realm a bit anyway. So
yeah, we do. But yeah, it'll still be probably a lot like my segments on JB and Goldwater, for that matter. But with
your AM Gold, by the way.
AM Gold.
AM Gold.
So that's the deal there. So I don't know. Daryl did make the point about Curtis Fry. And like I said, I did have a conversation earlier about it, and it's I think maybe we haven't talked enough about him and the factor if he does come to Carolina. But once again, the latest report looks like Oregon and South Carolina, the final two, the final countdown. So, all right, so my question is this. My question is, number one, obviously South Carolina's not third like, what's his name? Woody.
Womack. Woody.
Number two, obviously Maryland is not on top. And I think Michigan hadn't felt great about it for a while. And they could probably blame their coach Harbaugh for that. Yeah. Krager says, don't know if you saw yesterday, but I sent you a Facebook message about info on the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky. I responded right away. I don't normally do that with Facebook messages either. I was on Facebook and you popped up though. Yeah, I gave you some of the best there, Krager. I think. Unless there's another message. If there was a follow-up, I missed it. So there you go. Tiffany's like, there needs to be a quota met for JC impressions. I don't know. I'm glad I get to do impressions. Because, I mean, I don't work with a bunch of stiffs anymore,
That's great. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
When I worked with Corey Miller and Mike Morgan in Columbia, it wasn't like that. And I loved working with Greg McKinney in Greenville, too. It's just with Greg, you kind of feel silly. Did I use the word silly again? You feel silly kind of being, overtly entertaining, just because that was his show, and I didn't want to step on his toes. Greg was an institution on the radio up there. But, and then when you're a guest, you don't want to sit there and just go on and on and on. Like, although I did watch a comedian, Bill Burr, today. Bill Burr's hilarious.
Bill Burr's hilarious, yeah.
And so he was on with Conan O'Brien, and I was like, oh my God. And Conan and the sidekick were literally sitting there going, this isn't going to be able to air. I think Bradford and Goldwater felt that way with me sometimes. But, I mean, he said, I wonder if Woody Womack has any relation to Bobby Womack. Chances are no.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are no. Joey, I didn't get to visit Castle and Key on the trail while I was there. Bill Burr rules. Brian says, when are you going to Disney in March? Leaving March 19th, like it's my mom's spring break. So it's March 19th through the 25th or something. We'll be there Monday. It's kind of cool because like that trip from Christmas night until the day before New Year's was costing me an arm and a leg. But I got this one. I got one extra day, so 5 days instead of 4, and it was $1,000 cheaper. So, and I saved $250 on the flight that I rescheduled. Which thank God I rescheduled it because that was during the Southwest Mayhem.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that was
awful.
Still you may not have yet. That's right. You might have been driving home.
Good Lord.
I can only imagine a drive from Orlando to Chicago. Jesus.
So, yeah, Bobby Womack, 110th Street. That's a good song from Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown. Underrated Tarantino flick. Across 110th Street. A guy the other night in the bar named Purvis, he's talking about, I guess I could say his first name. He's a buddy of mine, but he's been talking about his wife's mom died or something, and she's been depressed, and he hasn't been getting any. And so he talks to Nat, and Nat's got never. And I always tell my guy friends, it's like, it's always cool to talk to women about women, but never take their advice that serious. Unless they're just like lifelong friends, and
or sisters maybe.
So even that though, because they're always looking at it from like their own romantic story in their head, and they know if a guy took their advice and approached them with that, they would like run away because it's just not manly. It's advice, advice from the opposite sex. So she goes into this whole thing about you need to take her to Vegas, and all this other stuff, and then get her some chocolate and a little champagne, and then tell her you're gonna rock her world. And I was like, she went on and on for about 15 minutes, and he asked me what I thought. I said 7 words. Play some G.D. Barry White. 6. I'm sorry, that's 6 words. 5 if you don't go with the G, which I normally don't. It solved, over, done. Play it. Play some Barry like that. Go.
Light a candle.
We've been together for a long time. We came through it, but it's and we don't stop. And forever and ever, girl, you know it. I mean, that's pimp. Or if you want something a little more, you don't want to do never ever can give you up. Maybe your girlfriend, your friend that's a female, told you that was a little stalkerish, right? Never gonna give you up, right?
Yes, right.
You can't sing "Baby You're Cold Outside" anymore, so maybe you can't sing that either. I don't know. Then how about "You're my first, my last, my everything"? Yeah, whoa, dang. So that's, man. I mean, look, play some Barry White. That's all you gotta do. Play some Barry White. That's 4 words. Play some Barry White. Take the profanity out of it.
That's all you need. Don't even need to,
Clint said either that or go cut the grass. Wash
Do
the
dishes and switch the laundry.
Close the refrigerator, clown.
And put the seat down.
House full of boys. It's hard. Carlton says first time he can watch this live. Thanks, Carlton.
Welcome in, sir.
We'll be a power trio tomorrow. And,
that's right. That's right.
Probably a little more mature with everything. By the way, I failed to mention Gamecock basketball. By the way, Red's barking. I left the door open. I don't know. There must be a squirrel. I mean, he's going to freeze to death. It's 1 degree outside. He said, Kroger said something about Teddy Pendergrass. I knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
You got what I need. That's from Delirious. It's 1 degree outside. But yeah, I think I didn't mention this. The Gamecocks are playing a men's basketball game tonight.
Cool. Who we listen to tonight?
Mississippi State comes to town. Let's see if the Gamecocks can keep it within 10 at home for the first time in an SEC game. Clint says it's okay, JC. You don't have to mention anything about basketball. Talking to one of my friends on the Big Spur, kind of private messages and stuff, and I don't know, I don't think you can fire somebody after a year. I don't. I just don't think it's just unprecedented. Now, guys have quit after a year, and the job just may be that bad. Or there may be some, I don't know. But I do think that whereas some of these people that wanted to fire Shane Beamer in his first year, I thought were just like nut jobs, right? And I don't know that you're that much of a nut job if you kind of think, White may not work out. And, White. Who was White? Paris. Lamont Paris. I was thinking about Barry White.
Barry White.
The head coach of the Gamecocks, Barry White. A touchdown, Barry White. Oh! Can't get enough of your love, baby. Oh, Brian's getting to Disney on the 25th. Yep, I'm flying out on the 25th. So if you're at MCO, wave at me. If you're on the monorail that goes from the terminal to the thing, unless you're driving. A lot of people from South Carolina do make the drive. Honestly, I probably would too if I were. Because you fly out of Charlotte, huh?
We drive. Yeah, it's easy.
It's not that bad of a drive.
Not bad,
really. So, Rakeem, it says any scouting report 2025. Irmo QB, AJ Brand, coach's son, good arm, good mobility. If he's not a quarterback, he could be a safety or receiver. Right now, a quarterback though. So, shoot, Irmo High School, man, it's been pretty good to the Gamecocks with Nick and Warren. It could have been even better, but we all know Jeff Coat thing. Kane said, "What do you listen to get over Gamecock basketball?" I listened to the song Numb by U2. Don't think against you. Can't make an LA up. Turn. Make a layup. I feel now. I used to be able to get that high. I can't anymore.
You listen to the women's basketball call.
Could have gone and hired Sean Miller, but not Sean Miller. I feel now. JC, be on the lookout on the iHelp Consulting mailbag about a theory you talked about way back when you were doing the solo podcast. It involved Banks moving from Columbia to Charlotte, involving Carolina as a university. Oh, that was some deep stuff there. Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that. That was kind of a deep cut about all that one. All right, well, folks, tomorrow's a big day, not just on the show, but for Carolina recruiting. The elusive out-of-state 5-star could come the Gamecocks' way, or he's going to go to Oregon. I think it's
anywhere else would be shocking.
Anywhere but Maryland, man. Maryland's kind of become a pain. I mean, Maryland and South Carolina, they at one point, the men's basketball rivalry in the 60s when Lefty Drizel was up there and Frank McGuire was in Columbia was a bloodbath. Like, there were fights and stuff. But the schools hadn't really played a whole lot over the years. The baseball team, that in a regional that I called the beginning of the end, the baseball team did put Carolina out in 2014 in Columbia. They played in basketball a few times. They played football a long time, but that's becoming such a rivalry. Heck, I've gotten caught up in it. I'm like, so Maryland doesn't get them.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, Maryland has no use for South Carolina fans anymore because they're not in the same league as Clemson anymore, so who cares?
Yeah, right.
You don't help us any. You're just a fourth-place Big Ten to East team. Fifth sometimes, if Indiana's good. Nectaria says the passing this season been so bad, turnover after turnover. Somebody says Carlton says Lamont has a bad roster, but is passionate. I can see he has a vision. He will get it right. I hope so, man. Even if he does, it's going to be tough. It's not as easy as having a guy that can coach anymore. You got to, in that sport, have resources and stuff. So, anyway, we're out of time. And by the time you listen to this show again, we'll have Jamie Bradford here to talk to us. Haynes said Maryland is hot dog water.
Yeah.
Ooh. Man, I like a good hot dog, but not the water, man. I wouldn't drink that water. Mm-hmm. Don't drink the water.
It's one of the few pot liquors that's not good.
True. All right, for Phil Mullinax, J.C. Sherbert, National Nicholas Harbor Day tomorrow, and signing date, and hope all you Gamecocks that do watch the basketball game tonight, including my friend Richard, who's going to his first game today, he and 25 other people at the CLA. I hope you do have a wonderful time, even if the product on the court may not be that good this evening. For Phil, it's J.C. signing off for the last time as a power duo. Tomorrow, Jamie Bradford joins the show. Have a good one, everybody.